recipes start with Odlums, proud sponsors of Catherine Layden on Ireland AM.
Now you'll happy to see that our baking queen Catherine Layden is back in the kitchen this morning, and a sausage plait.
Sausage plait for Sammy himself.
Yeah. For Sammy sausages, yeah, there we go. Yay, got it in, bum, bum, bum.
Now, we're doing what we call an all-in-one pastry, which means it's a little different to the regular short crust pastry. So here I have 225 grams, that's 8 ounces of our cream plain flour. Now I put roughly half that in, right? And then I have here 150 grams, that's 5 ounces of butter or margarine, and have it quite soft. So it's not like the traditional pastry where you have everything as cold as possible. This is really, it's not as light a pastry as the other would be. So now you just...
OK, so if you're making a traditional pastry, everything has to be really cold.
Really cold, yeah. And then you see the pastry is baked, Alan, at a very high temperature, right? And that gives you a nice, crisp, light pastry. But this is baked at a lower temperature, so it's not as important and your pastry isn't quite as light. Now you just mix that through with your knife and then toss in the rest of the flour and about 2 tablespoonfuls of water.
So if you know you're going to make this, would you leave like the butter out the night before and stuff like that?
Yeah, much better if you could, yeah. Now, just bring that together with the knife. Now, don't worry if there are pieces of margarine or butter through it, because when you kind of knead that together, it will spread a little. So we'll just bring that together. And then you put your hands in there, you turn it onto a lightly floured board, and you gently or lightly knead it until all the cracks are gone from the dough. And if I could just hold it up there to show you what that looks like. So your bowl is left,
can see it there,
as you see, practically clean, and that's the pastry. So when you get your pastry done, you put it out onto a lightly floured board and you roll it. And we have one rolled here already.
Yeah.
And roll it into a square or an oblong and onto your baking tin. And you'll see why we're doing this at this stage.
Straight onto the baking tin now.
Yes, because now we're going to make up the filling. And here I have about 12 ounces of sausage meat. I have 1 medium onion. Now I have 2 onions here. Just 1 medium red onion in.
So this is a different take on your average sausage roll? Correct,
yeah, there's extra. Now I have a plain one there.
Yeah, we have the plain one. I've already had 2 pieces of the plain one. Oh now, my God, what's that now? 2
tablespoonfuls of tomato ketchup.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow, OK.
And here I have my mixed spices and some parsley. Now, fresh parsley, if you can get it, is best, but I'm using the dried parsley here today. Now, we just mix those ingredients together to get the flavourings through the sausage meat, and it helps because the sausage meat is quite wet and sticky. It helps if you get the old gloves on to get it done that bit quicker. Now, a tip: if you can't get sausage meat, you just put your sausages into a bowl of cold water for about 10 minutes, and the skin lightly lifts off
them.
Yeah.
So if you wanted a really good sausage meat, would you go out and buy the really good sausages then?
You could, and if you wanted a flavoured sausage, depending on the flavour.
Lots of them around.
Lots of different flavours around, yeah. So now we just take roughly half of that and just roll it in some flour and press it down the centre of the pastry. So really, this is for presentation more than anything else, Alan, that you spend a little time at it. So we just get that done.
And when does the egg come in and the tomato?
Now we have here some sliced...
Like a boiled egg?
Sliced hard-boiled egg. In the old days, these were used a lot, hard-boiled eggs into things.
Really?
Yeah. Now we just ease our sausage meat down there by halving it. And onto that we put our hard-boiled egg, slices of hard-boiled egg. Now a tip, when you boil your eggs, and you boil them for about 8 minutes to make sure they're hard, you then take them immediately. What I generally do is pour the hot water, the boiling water off the egg, and I turn the cold tap on it. And that will prevent getting a black ring around the centre. So now we just get the remaining stuff here.
I have honestly never seen this before, like a boiled egg and tomato in a sausage roll.
Well, now you're getting your sausage.
Something new every day.
Something different every day. Now, after all these years, Alan, it's kind of hard to come up with something different, isn't it?
But you've obviously made this a good few times, have you?
Years ago since I made it last year. Yeah. So now, as I said after the Black Forest last week, we're becoming a bit retro.
A bit retro, yeah. And so the tomato goes then on top of this then, does it?
Then you put your sliced tomatoes. Now you can put anything else on you want as well. You could put cheese on them, whatever. So now we just Put that on there.
Okay, and then you just wrap it in that. This is the
Take
tricky
off
bit,
the
is it?
gloves, right? Here I have some stiffly beaten egg. And we're just going to quickly brush that with a little egg. And don't worry if there's a bit of flour on it, as we have here, because the egg and the fat from the
We've only a minute,
meat.
Catherine.
Oh, James, it's right tonight.
Yeah.
Now, another tip for you. If you're making a what do you call that, egg wash, if you put a pinch of salt in, you get a nicer, richer glaze like we have on that one there. So now we just simply bring this up and just plait it over. So you've got the general idea, I hope, have you?
Okay, well, I take the one out of the oven while you continue with that.
Yeah. Good idea.
And I'll take this one out.
Now, over and over, over and over.
Look at this.
I'm telling you. Now, that and that.
Oh, lads, look at that.
Now, look at this.
That looks fantastic.
Isn't it amazing? Serve that up now with the salad. And Bob's your uncle. Now, that goes in at 375, 190, gas mark 4, for about 40 to 45 minutes.
Oh, that's quite long then, yeah.
It is, yeah, because you see, you've got a lot of sausage meat in there, like it's quite filling.
How do you know if it's done, though, Catherine, if it browns on the outside too quickly?
Well, then you just have to even cut it in half and check the sausage meat is cooked, particularly in the centre. That is important. And this can be served hot with the salad that you're doing here today, or you can have it cold for a picnic. Do we even want to think about picnics at this stage? Hopefully.
Hopefully we are going to. Now, I'm definitely going to try. It's probably too warm now there.
There we are
But
now.
I definitely want to try it with the boiled egg and the tomato. So we will be trying that a little later on when it cools down. Catherine, always a pleasure. Thank you. That's really interesting. I know there's going to be lots of people around the country now going to make that today.
Hopefully.
Thanks a lot.
Great recipes start with Odlums, proud sponsors of Catherine Leyden on Ireland AM.